Hey, good morning, everybody. I know we're still filing in, so we'll get a look at what stocks we have this morning on the news. You got the Federal Reserve. I think he's not talking till 2 p.m., but he's expected to hold the rate. So I don't think there's going to be I think that's worked into the market already. So I don't expect there's going to be any big news if you're trading all day long. I don't think there's going to be any big sell-off or buying this morning. I just think it's kind of a no story till later if he surprises us all. I think confirming that he might cut in September and October might give us a big, good swing trade going long. But, not knowing that's a little, if you're sitting around to see if guidance pumps that up, that you're almost like momentum trading, but it's something to watch. I mean, there's a lot of us here in the studio that are going to be watching. I won't be, but there are others that will be watching that live off the catalyst, GDP data, Q2 growth strengths, U.S. economy's at 3%. I'm just trying to think if this Charlie put this stuff together. That might affect our large cap, mega cap stocks today. Labor markets, ADP payroll beats forecast, so that's good news. The news is generally pretty good still, just pumping this market upward. Major trade and tariff developments. Trump has warned. Yeah, this is the big thing coming on August 1st, so just a few days away. Trump has warned of new tariffs effective Friday, targeting Canada, Mexico, South Korea, India, especially over arms and energy dealings. So it depends on what you're trading, I guess, but those things can trickle down to the whole market if he starts to make some big threats. I think that, I think we've all learned that it's sort of his negotiating tactic to sort of a scare tactic about larger threats and tariffs, and then it kind of gets backed off, or the other countries don't respond quite so firmly. So people are learning how to handle him a little bit. So I don't know. I think the market's probably built that in. Just my opinions. I don't know for sure, but after that big dump and then it came back, then there was a couple of surges with every word he said, and then it just kind of, okay, he's just going to say stuff. We can't take it seriously, which is kind of sad since he's the president of the country, but that's the way it goes. Tech earnings ahead, Microsoft, Meta platforms. Smaller names, key earnings, Starbucks, which I know I saw that didn't beat, that was below expected. Like 6 quarters in a row, Starbucks been down. I used to trade Starbucks. I don't trade that anymore. Semiconductors, AI. This is actually some good news Charlie has put out here. AI, NVIDIA boosted. Analysts raised NVIDIA's target price from 170 to 200. So that came out recently. So that could change NVIDIA. I was actually looking at Tesla this morning as a potential because of the news it has. That's not on this news list. So that's, there's more stories here, but that seems to be the main stuff that would be might affect us today. On NVIDIA's news, on Tesla's news, this is about reports of a new battery supplier, why it matters to test stock. So it says I watch these 3 words here. Tesla stock rises amid, those 3 words. But so will that translate to a boom if I want to try to trade it at the open and do that risky open move where you're just sort of rolling dice, like I said? That is more like gambling. So I thought about it though, but of course it could put me in a big red to overcome, like what happened yesterday. So that would be not a good thing. Let me work on this for a second. Let's see here. So if you didn't catch the recap, there was a nice big recovery yesterday. And I did trade it. I recorded it all and then put it out in the video so you could see the way I recovered from a $700 deficit and got Charlie green too. So that was good. I was just looking right now to see what did that do to my average. Let's take a look. Alan's arriving late now. Yeah, let me bring this over. So this was for those of you that are interested. So we're almost to the end of the month, which will be probably, I'm not sure what style trading I'll be doing next month, but this was all about learning scalping. So that could be used in any strategy. So I was doing some of it off camera, off mic'd up to recover, and I had comments, why don't you just show that? So yesterday I did show that, and I put it out on a recap video if you want to see how it came from a $700 down to a $103 gain. Got to that goal so that we were staying. So we got 3,306. At one point I thought we might break 4K, but probably not unless I really push outside of this, what we're trading here. One of the things that was, because I did so much trading, you know, your accuracy is going to go down. There's just no, so that's the lowest I have this month. There was another here that was 77. And then, you know, I like those 100% ones, but, you know, so overall, this is pulling my average down. But anyway, but it was a recovery, which was good. And let's see. Okay. All right, so on our scanners today, it's the same old usual suspect. They're converted to a watch list here. Like I said, I'm thinking about trading this at the open. It's a big risk, but the fact that it has catalyst, it might shoot up really big. So I'd have to watch it close and be careful. Probably wouldn't do very high share size just to get the day started, get my blood flowing. And then we have to figure out what is consolidating here. Do we go back to AMD? Do we try to trade NVIDIA, which also has news? So let's get a look at these. That's the $100,000 per minute volume, 100,000 volume per minute. And then this is, these are the ones that are 50,000. So there's a few others and a lower market cap. So a few others came in. I moved the hard to bar over here so we could see, because that's really important if we're going long short. So we'll see how the day unfolds. Now next month, probably I'm going to be starting later, so I don't know how many that's going to mess people up, but we might go more into the RV strategy. Maybe a low share size challenge or something like that for the month on the RV strategy. Try to change it up a bit so that you guys can learn different techniques, because really this month was more about, I keep saying it's a large cap retracement, but really it's a scalping. And if you watch yesterday's recap, it specifically shows that that's what I'm doing, like in and out, watching price flow. Of course, the indicators come in handy, backing things up. There was some comment. I answered the comments this morning. Charlie got me to answer. So if you're waiting for an answer to your comments on on YouTube, I finally I zipped through them this morning. But the latest one is, after watching your video, it's clear that you are gambling. You have no idea what you're doing. So I love comments like that. You know, Charlie doesn't put through comments that are like, you're ugly. But there was a comment that came through, and it said like, "You're just ugly, don't show your face," or something like that, right? And now what a lot of people don't know is there is software, guys, hate to burst your bubble here, you can actually see who you are. You're not hidden on YouTube like you might think. So, we did a dive on that person because I thought, God, he's probably 12. Was 34 years old. And he says stuff like that. That's like, yeah. You just got to kind of feel sorry for it. That's what somebody's doing. To just go around randomly and say stuff, I don't know. He didn't have a history of comments. We could look it up and see that. So that was funny. But at any rate, the latest one was, I won't say who it is and all that stuff, but what you see on YouTube is just a comment. And I like those comments because what it really shows is their lack of understanding. Of course it seems like gambling. Of course. And there's always an element that's gambling. There's no question about it. Do I know what I'm doing? There's a percentage of me that has no idea what I'm doing, like I think all of us. But in trading, I think I have a higher percentage that I do, which my accuracy would bear witness to. But if you don't understand technical analysis, if you don't understand volume flow and patterns, and you don't know how to read indicators and crossovers, then it's going to be total gambling to you. So what he really did is reveal the fact that he has no idea what any of that stuff is. And so he just looks to him like it's just voodoo magic, like back in the 70s when, candlestick patterns started to be talked about on the news, like, hey, there's patterns here, and people like, that's voodoo. Nobody, you only go by the strength of the company fundamentals, no technical analysis. That's just stupid. And of course now technical analysis has taken over the fundamentals. And social media has, added a new whole thing that might drive a stock to go a certain way based on meme deals and stuff. So, it's ever changing. But there is no question that historical data is the basis of just about every movement of a stock. You can go back and you can find historical data. That's how people invest in companies. That's how people start companies. They go out and do data to see, will this product sell based on historical data? It's there. It's been there, forever and ever and ever. So how you discern what that historical data is there's all kinds of arguments about that, what you look for, where the most strength is. But to suggest that, I don't know what it was on the video. I asked how he was doing in the comment, if he's listening. I don't know what it is on the video that you think proves that it's gambling, but I would love to know so that we could maybe help you and dissect where you're going wrong. And on a very positive note, email me. Maybe I can help you and show you that I'm not just randomly going into trades. When you see me trade fast like that, I'm usually watching price flow, but I will be looking at everything, and I'm taking in sort of cumulative knowledge that's already like giving me a bias, and then I'm watching the flow. And but I love having the indicators because this is going to give me a bias that hey, this stock's going down right now overall, but yet the market's going up. So you take these all in, and then you look at the target prices up here, and then you look at the strength of the meter in the moment. You read the news. I mean, it's not gambling when you can take it all in. And there's always an element of, we don't know. So you don't know. You walk out your door, you're gambling. There's always an element of gambling. And I think that might have come from the first trade. That's what I'm hoping his logic was. Because the first trade of the first candle is outright gambling. Just no getting around it. So if that's what he meant, what he was saying, then kudos. I agree with him. I'd say the only thing I would have for that I think I have a bit of an edge is bias of which way I think the stock's going to go. So I look for a movement in the opposite direction to get a little bit of an edge on price, and then try to hold it for the way I think the price is going to go. But I think, I don't know for sure. I might be a winner. It's definitely a high There's much more gambling in the opening candle. Like I always say, like, don't trade it just because I'm doing it for. And then as a teacher, of course, there's the whole part about where I'm supposed to be, not showing you stuff like that. I'm not teaching you how to gamble, right? But guys, I'm not here just to teach you. I'm here to trade as well and to enjoy my life. And I'm hoping that while doing that, I can imbibe some lessons to help you move along, which was the purpose of Day Trading for Success. I don't think you're going to find a head trader to get on this channel or any channel on a consistent basis that isn't going to have some element that they want to enjoy themselves. I am not getting paid to be here. Okay, so I want to have fun too, and obviously you guys succeeding is the best fun for me, but I'm intermixing it, and that's why I give all these warnings that, hey, don't do this, but I'm not just, you got to go easy on me, man. It's not just about me teaching you. The state's not paying me. The country's not paying me. I used to be a teacher, but nobody's paying me anymore. So I want to have fun. I enjoy it. So if you guys can have fun with me and not lose your butts, that would be great. And I think there is a lot of lessons that I can really help you with, and it's proven on the channel. So many people that have been doing so well following the different strategies in the $1 Million Margin Club books and the different, strategies that I show here that have worked for me over the years. So happy that it's working for so many people, some still struggling. And I do think that Mark Douglas, Trading in the Zone, is key if you're struggling. You almost don't want to read that book too soon, because you have to get to a place where things aren't going too well. And then you really listen to that book. That's a good book to just have. If you're going to have 4 or 5 books, that's why I keep mentioning the same books over and over. Best Loser Wins, Trading in the Zone, Day Trading Volume 1 and 4. Those 4 books are really good books. You try to get a book that's not a marketing machine, that's actually giving you information. There's a lot of traders that put out books that are just, touting their courses more than anything. They'll talk about trading, but it's all about, here's how you can, make me money. So right away that it's somebody's pouring their heart into it when they're showing you a strategy and they're not trying to gain from it. And I know the $1 Million Margin Club now, they're newer versions of the book. They do show their scripts and stuff. Obviously, they're selling books, so they're making some money. But I'm just saying it's not like outside of that, selling courses. Those are the books I steer clear from recommending. That because there's good traders. They're good traders too, but they make more money marketing. Clearly, you guys must know that. They want you to buy their courses, and it's sort of the biggest lie out there that you can trade as good as they can just by buying their course. That's like saying you can be a surgeon. Just if you read a medical book. It's not the same thing. Right? It's not. They can't teach you without you without you trying it yourself. So that wasn't the best metaphor I had there, but I think you knew what I was going for there. So let's get a quick look at what else we have here. So take a look at NVIDIA for a minute on the 5-minute. We got the same fib. Now somebody sent and that's why it's on 2-day. Somebody sent a really good comment about why aren't you doing the 2-day fib, and thank you for that. Now, I didn't explain why. Usually it has to do with price action, but these ones that are going straight up, the 2-day fib would actually be very helpful. I usually just don't trade them, as an RV, but as we get into the RV, we would definitely want to do a 2-day fib. So I'll mark on some of these. I'll start putting this fib up here. Let's just see, yeah. So, because this can be support and resistance. Fibonacci is just nature's mathematical formula. And we want to see, because we can tighten the channels on these. So you can see that fib was respected there from a day before. See how it hit it here? And then this is historical data based on this. And then we have another fib I think we're covering up some of the yellow. There's a yellow line in here. No, maybe not. Yeah. So this is good. So thank you for the suggestion. I hadn't been doing it with this strategy. But I do have to get a look at the bigger time frame here to actually see if we want to do anything here. So this same historical data levels are great until they're not respected. It turned around. Well, it didn't turn around. That's where we marked it. So we look at this level here. I don't see anything else to mark on NVIDIA here. I was really surprised at the drop-off yesterday. Hope none of you got caught in that, the way that fell. So nothing but net up here now. Most likely it'll go up, especially since the news was that they raised its target. So probably, unless the market overall is down, NVIDIA is probably an upward move. We can look at this for churning, for channel trading. Let's take a look at AMD. So yeah, we don't want any of this stuff. We don't want this trash here. There's two lines there, huh? Yeah, that's intraday levels to help. But that is, well, that got hit there. Interesting, huh? How that intraday got picked up right there. I don't know why that is. I didn't think that was a particularly strong level there. No, it's not. I'm going to get rid of it. That would be a stronger level, obviously, this high right here. Let's see if that picks up. Got about 8 minutes till we trade here. So this is a candidate for the 2-day fib because of how it's gone out of the 10-day range, and it's not really good for channeling here. So, but this fib, a 2-day fib might help us. So I'll go ahead and put that here. Again, thanks for that suggestion. And see if we can get some trading. I mean, nobody really knows why Fibonacci levels are respected. So, so strongly respected on many, many days, many, many trades. But they are. So we should make note of them. So now we have a newer level up here on the 2-day fib. And it's too early to see if any of this will be helpful in any way. That would be a level I would definitely mark, though. Did this get hit someplace else here? Yeah, so that turned around there, and then the pre-market turned it around. So there's some other levels, but nothing, and these may not be respected, so I don't know. I'll keep that. No, let me move that back off of here. Let's see. And let's get into, well, Apple's been dropping. Sorry for the poor gentleman that's holding Apple on the comments. That is odd. Let me just look at the news on AMD before. Yeah, it's all about NVIDIA again here. We go to Apple, which is typically a good one. It maintains its 270 target price. I mean, things are saying, unless the general market turns around, it seems like holding Apple. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, but it seems like holding that, if you can afford the swing and you don't hit your max loss, is probably a good call, that it's going to come back. But you gotta get out at your max loss, right? I'd be careful. We're coming to that August 1st, so you're getting 2 days. You're getting stuck in a possible reaction to what happens. But again, I think it's probably built into the market. And if Powell says any kind of guidance that September, October is going to be a rate cut, everything's going to go up. So you definitely would want to wait for that, right? Or wait, if he says something bad, then get out at your max loss. I'm talking to one particular person that told me they're holding Apple right now. And I'm just saying how I might look at that move Not that you need my help. You're probably quite good at what you do. Yeah, I don't see anything else to mark here. Let me go to a 2-day fib on it. $94, $214.94. I know 980. I'm just changing the color so we know what's the 2-day and what's the 10-day here. So I only have a few minutes left to trade, so I want to get geared up to be in my right position. I'm not going to mark out any of the others for now. I have a feeling I'm going to be with NVIDIA, Tesla, or AMD, but you do have Planeteer, Hood, and Google still on the top one, and then you have iShares for Bitcoin is the second one down on the 50,000 per 1 minute, and then you have another one, Wells Fargo. Huh? Did they just have a report? Huh. I doubt that this is the kind of price action we want, but you never. Yeah. See, when you see stuff like that, oops. Like these little things, that's a warning. Like they're not going to move the way you want them to move. But it did hit that scanner, so I don't know. I'm going to go back to Tesla, guys, for my, and then we're going to wait out. Now, remember, I'm not a licensed financial advisor. You should seek the advice of someone licensed before you try to emulate any of the trading styles that I use here. So remember that, guys. Let's talk to a licensed financial advisor. This is my basic plan that I try to follow. I only own 25% of my max position. I will only add to that position to half up or full position if the stock shows a sign of turning around after it's gone against me. And I watch my indicators, and I'm very careful with that adding, and always keep to your max loss, whatever that is. And these are some other good rules. But, you make your own trading plan. Yeah, it's starting to go up. That's the news, guys. That's the news. It's telling us. I hope everybody's, wow, is it going to make its move before I can get in it? Stop that. I'm not going to go in pre-market on this, but you know how those times you go in pre-market and then it goes way down? You could have got a much better position before it goes up, and then it does end up going up, and it's just like, oh, why didn't I just wait for the open? And then there's other times it just takes off, That doesn't mean I'm gambling, sir. Well, on the, you're not going to get my goat, but you do get me to think, to make sure that the message is clear. That the first candle is not something you should do, it's just not. So here we go. I'm going to try, it's Tesla, so I'm not going to do more than 100 shares, which is a lot for Tesla to try to do what I'm about to do here. Okay, guys, is everybody ready? Good luck. Don't trade this, but we'll be back to do consolidating as the market goes on here for the actual strategy. Try to find these channels. I might take a big hit and hold this for a swing. So I'm ready to do anything here. There it goes. Too fast. Is it going to go back down? It just went straight up. Just wasn't ready. There's a lot of people taking profit right now, is waiting for it to go down. Well, I think I missed the first move. We're 14 seconds in. Looking at where it's stopping. Is it going to pull back? pulling back some. There it goes back. Is at the bottom. Is it going to hit at the even dollar? Yeah, there we go. So I'm glad I didn't jump in yet. It's going back down. All right, I'm going to go ahead in there, knowing that this could go down a lot further first. So I'm expecting a downward move first. We'll add to my position if it goes way down. So I'm going to look for closer to the fib 24. That was tempting. I'm just going to take that if it picks me up. Oh, it dropped off. Yeah, I was watching the flow go back down, and that bothered me. So I'm going to get rid of that. Get ready to sell market if it jumps back up there again. It's going to give me a bad split, right? 113. That wasn't too bad. So look at that. I made my goal. I got a little blood rush there. Now it's going to be the FOMO, like, why didn't you just stay in the move? My God, man. Take it. Take the money and run. Now, I know a lot of people trade Tesla every day. That is not for the faint of heart. It's a radical moving stock. I think what I'll do is, I'll go ahead and trade this some more here. But I'm going to lower my share size, and I want to get a look at things here to see if there's anything I can do, or if I'm just going to be chasing something here. So I think I'm going to go down to 20 shares. How about that for conservative? So to the gambler man, I'm not all in yet. So now let's see if these 2-day fibs get respected at all here. If you're doing this, this is still very, very risky. We don't have enough data to do anything here. So all I have to look at is price flow, and even that is just a little too soon, and it is a mega cap. So it does seem to be respecting the 223 though. So and it went right back up off of that. That dips down there again. I'll give it a shot. Okay, what did I get it at? 02, not too bad. I've got a nice cushion. Now the magnet just pulled up, but it's too soon to worry about that. So I don't want this to get more than like $20 to $30 probably on a 20 share. That's over. It's $1.50 down. So that means that it's wrong. It's 50 cents down now, roughly, and it is going down. So it could go way down here, and I'm going to keep most of what I have here. So if I've miscalled that, I don't think I want to add to Tesla right now. Again, there's no data. That's why I don't want to add. This is a crapshoot. So I was hoping to catch this to be continuing to go up for the day. Like it's going to do a little bit of sell off, and then it's going to take off based on the news. Now we get into the 11th minute or so, we can start to find who's really channeling, which one of these stocks is giving us the opportunity between whole and half dollars, or really, is it going to do this? It looks so hopeful for a minute. Yeah, I'm just going to get out. All right, I'm not gonna play that reindeer game anymore. That's my conservative side, and it's too soon really to take a look. Why don't we take a look at some of these that we don't normally trade? This is the Bitcoin one. I'm kind of interested in seeing the price flow on this early market. Now I talked about earlier, if you weren't here, I read the news. I talked about how we're coming to the close of this month. I showed how we were doing. And, I did end up being green yesterday. If you didn't watch the recap, I did record trading after the stream to get Charlie out of the red. And I showed you how I got back from a 700 negative to get the $100 positive. It took a while. I was tired of too many trades, and my accuracy was only like 78% because of that. But you might want to watch that recap yesterday if you're interested in scalping. So, but my point was, this month has been, I call it large cap retracement, but we're focusing on, these are old historical data, we're focusing on scalping. So this is not respected. I'm going to remove that line. How far back do these go here? Or any of those? That line was pretty well respected, that level. This one wasn't. Let's clean this up a bit and just see if this is going to be tradable for something different. But yeah, this month has been teaching scalping. I call it large cap retracement, but I'm thinking next month of starting later and getting more into the RV. A lot of people are wanting me to just do the open. I'm not going to do I'm not going to trade, for a long, long time, but then it would be like we would set up, after 9:30 would be the setup, and then we would be looking to get in when all the other people get in for the, for the higher volume trading of consolidation, which is a half hour after market opens, 10 o'clock on the East Coast. Look at this little area right here. So let me see if so the whole $0.50 are completely out of the realm on this one, so we'd have to go in and change it here. In fact, I don't even want to do that right now because I'm not sure I'm going to come back over here. But like, there's a whole $1. And then this is a small channel. I just realized that. Wow, that's only 40 cents. So, yeah. So you'd want to do a lot more shares to make any money here. Let's see what that does on the, that's why this is probably not going to be as helpful for us to trade. So this is just trending up. I'm going to auto zoom this and do this again. Oh, it does have the whole $0.50 here. Oh, I was on a 5-minute. That's why. Okay. Yeah, as long as I don't preset this will open up correctly. The second I have to move the whole $0.50 for a certain price level, then it will stay that way on all of them because it's on the chart I set it at. So this has got a channel, but it's a big channel, and it's too early for your market magnet here. We're coming up. This is, you can see, because these are 5-minute marks. So even without the clock, we're in our 8th minute here, about to close. And what do we have here? They say Bitcoin's going to hit 150K by the end of the year. Well, that's great news. So these others are not hitting the scanner for that kind of volume in a 1-minute candle. I remember trading Mara before, and it was really so slow. It was like, it was a mid-cap trading. It was like trading a GM or Ford or something. It was so thickly traded and barely moving that I could, I did a video trying to switch to a mid-cap strategy, and it just, there you guys would fall asleep. It was just so boring. Safer, consolidating much safer, but boring, So I don't know. I mean, this would probably be 1,000 shares to trade it, and it doesn't look like it's not going to slip to. Look how tight that is. Yeah, so this isn't something we want to trade, guys. Not for the type of trading we're doing. Try this. I didn't really set this up this morning. Went up. That is consolidating. It's at its ATR up here near the high, so it had a big pre-market move, as you can see. Got it way up to the ATR. And then it faded, so it might be telling you that we could trade that short biased. Market is good news only. This is trending up only. When it has that big of a move, it's harder to call it. All of these that trend, of course, have been more difficult because we're in this weird market right now where everything's just going straight up. So not consolidating, in other words, which makes it harder to trade a consolidating strategy. So we have a double fib here on the 2-day. Let's see what the whole $0.50 come in here on the 1 minute to see if we've got. I'm gravitating toward AMD. I ended up doing okay with it yesterday after a bad start, but it is going up. So It's always a big mess unless you go like that. Like, oh, then there's not a lot of lines now. So let's look at our spread, 3 to 4 cents. Not very thickly traded. You multiply these by 100. So a lot of people like the 178 as a turnaround point, but it blew right through it. So it's very strong moving up. Just judging, looking at the level 2 and all the other data. This is saying we want to go up today. Now remember, yesterday it went up to 180, and then I had a 180 position, I think. And then it dropped off. I got out for a big loss, and then it passed it again like 5 minutes later. So because everybody knew I got out, that was why. No. All right, so let's get this back to 100 shares and see if we can. I'll start with this one, guys. So we're on the 11th minute now. Let's see if we can create some channels here that we can respect, or if it's just nonsense still. Starting to retrace. And if we want to go long, which I do, long biased, we're hitting the 9. It'd be a good spot to get in here, maybe off the 177 if it's going to drop. So that's 16 on the bid. It's going to give us a move down. Showing signs of reversal there. I'll go ahead and get in at the 6 cents. Oh, it took me a 10. See how bad that did? Man, and then it dropped right away. Okay. So I might add down here, but it looks like it's given me a good trade to start. So we got a $34 trade right off the bat. With 100 shares, that's a pretty good trade. So that was good. Let's see if we get another dip. I think I'm going to try the bid this time because it's 6 cents off of what I thought I was going to get there. Or maybe it was only 4 cents off. So it looks like maybe this is our keeper for today to start our channel trading. Let's see. Got a little more sleep last night than last night. I mean, than the night before, where I was really stressed out when I started trading, which was, I don't know, really stressed out, but I was tired. And I think that had a lot to do with the negative trade, frankly. You try to come up with reasons. I don't know. It was your guy's fault. One of you, it was your fault. And you know who you are. It was the cat's fault. It didn't muse me. Now I've got, like, on either side of the station, there are cat resting areas because they were fighting over getting the resting area that was near my keyboard. So I've kind of pushed them away from my keyboard. But I think it's the heat of because there's a lot of heat that comes up. I think they like the heat of the area. I don't think it's me. But maybe my voice puts them to sleep, and they sleep 23 hours of the 24-hour day. So that could be it. Now, I hesitate to go short if it comes up here, honestly, because I'm playing this long biased. I will mark that tweezer move. It did not complete it. Now, see it coming in here, the magnet coming in here? It's enough data where I want to respect that. So it's about to pop up, but God, it's not near the 77. It's not a great place. There's 10 cents already. Yeah, it's just not. It wasn't an alignment. I was looking for an alignment to enter there. But, of course, it called it, and I didn't take it. Magnet just called that perfectly, guys. If you don't have the market magnet, get it. It's more times than not, it is so accurate. Now, normally I would short here, but long bias. Look at the market, guys. I mean, geez. I'm going to wait for a dip, be conservative. Now, if you watched me trade yesterday afternoon, you saw real scalping, where you're really going in the short plays. Here I'm still being a bit conservative for the end of the month so we end up nice and green. You know, $100 a day, that's $2,000 or so more. I think there's 22 trading days in this month, so that's 2,200. If you manage to get 150 a day, right, then you can add another, $1,100 to that. So that's 3,300. You know, that can do a lot to, for your monthly goal to survive and live and thrive. Might not be enough to make a living, but it certainly helps. Again, I'm going to wait for a retracement to go long here. I don't want to chase it up, and that's just it. I'm not going to get bored. I'm not going to go against that. I mean, I guess I should. If data changes to the point where I want to go long, then I will. But right now, I want a retracement. I want it to act like a normal large cap here, which means pull back and then pull back the other way, then pull back and pull back the other way. Go back to, here we go. So how far do I go down with this, right? It's starting to turn around, so I'm going to take it right there. And I got in at the 47. So I called it at the 50 line rather than wait for the even dollar down here, being plain long biased and looking for this to get back up to the 178 on a swale upward here. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm looking at sort of a 50-cent move here. So we'll see if we can get somewhere close up there. 40 to 50-cent move. Let's wait it out. You can see it, look at here so you can see what you're doing here. Our target's 35. So really I should probably go for like a 30-cent move now that I see that. So there's our target. So when you see this get near $30, you know that's at 30 cents. It's easy because I'm at 100 shares. Now the MACD turned it around, so it's kind of it's showing weakness there. So it's kind of making me want to get out sooner just to make sure I'm green. So I am looking at that indicator thinking maybe just take it. Yeah, so I took it for like $22, $25, I guess, right? I don't know what I was at. So I should have waited. It kept going, but this looked like it was going to turn it around, so I went for it. So it looks like we have some real channeling with a long biased. Now you do have a big rickshaw man on the 5-minute, which would be a signal that this is going to go down on the 5-minute overall. So sellers were going up, and they fell off, and the volume fell off with them. Mixed signal there. Buy-sell oscillator is now turning it around as well. It's really fighting its way to get back to the 178. Sort of not quite a full block pattern here, so we can't recognize that. Just stay steady. Wait for the setup, whatever you're trading. Put out your support and resistance. Look at your whole and half dollar levels. Focus on the overall indicators. See how many are conflicting. Figure out your biased. There's a lot to think about, right? And then just wait, and you're going to get your trade. It's going to come to you. That's when it's not gambling. You wait, and then the probability, as it points out in trading in the zone, is going to be in your favor. Your accuracy will be in your favor. If you get, okay, magnet's going to pull it up. So see, this is the stuff that messes with you because it's going to blow the 178. There it goes. Boom. But I just didn't want to chase it, I swear that's right like 90% of the time. It just calls it. But I'm going to be patient and wait. So what you've got up here is a 50 cent and then your fibs right above it on the 2-day fib. So far, we don't know if those fibs are going to be respected yet on a 2-day. It might be very close to the 179 level too. I'd love to get a pullback here to go long and maybe hold it a little longer on the move up. I don't want to get it here. It's at its high, and it's just chasing it. Let's get a pullback, guys. For you lucky few that are just riding it long, congratulations. Now, do I pull back to the even dollar? Do we keep making our pullback a little higher? Tempting, right? I mean, that's very tempting because it is stopping at the even dollar now. See if it can blow through it. It didn't. Wow. So I'll look to see if it taps there again. Maybe buy the bid. Try to get as close to it as I can so I can add to it if it goes against me. Yeah, it is definitely fighting to just go up here. Yeah, there it goes. You could tell on the level 2 that it wasn't going to come down. So I'm not going to play this short. This is why I need more time to trade in the morning, because you don't. I end up trying to force these for everybody to just get the goal, make the money, but it's not time to take the trade. Now the 15-cent level is becoming the level rather than the whole dollar down here. At some point there'll probably be a big red retracement as it's getting the nosebleed up here, but wow. There's no place to get in on these retracements. Are so small that I'm probably going to take a retracement that's not as deep. Okay, so anything in the low 30-cent range I might go in. 178, like 33, 34. There's 36. I'll take that. What did I get it at? Got it at 33. Now let's see if we can hold this to get by this 50 cents and move up to the fib. Hold this to break our. We already made the goal on the opening trade, but now you don't want to get too greedy. That's the thing. It's like here's a bigger retracement. See, I would have loved to have gotten it down here, 10 cents. I'm not going to add to this position going down, not yet. I needed to see it turn around, and then I might add as it goes back up. I would do a market to do a quick add if it goes back up. It's just not enough off my position to even consider it. If it was down here and started to turn around, then I would have done it, but it's dangerous because, you know, this could be trending down. So you need to average into your half position when you really feel it's making its move back up. I saw that short move coming, but it didn't sustain and it came back down again. Short move going back up. You know, you could see it just swaling up there for a minute. Got me green, but, you know, I'm holding for a longer move. The more red candles, the less I would hold. I would just get out for a shorter gain. All right, so it is making a sustained downward move here. If it turns around down, and okay, so now I look to see if it's going to turn around if I start to see it swaling up. Yeah, that's a move. Twice I've seen that sign now, so I'm going to go for it. Wants to move up here. So I went into my half position to get the move up. Gave me ways for lesser loss, but I'm going for the move. I don't think it's done yet. God, this has memories of yesterday. Mr. Magnet, are we going to go up or down here? We're resting on the 14. That was just a stall and think or swim. I don't like to see that. See how the volume has decreased as I'm in my position here. Don't like to see that either. I want to see this break above the 178 in a big way here. If I see a pop, I might go in full position here. 18. No, it's too close to me. Do not use the 78.15 as a resistance. There it goes. Doesn't show profit, but that was a profit. On the ask, it was a 20 cents. There it goes. There we go. Now let's make this, I'm not going to get out too soon here. On the other hand, I don't want to get too greedy, so I went ahead and took it. So, you know, it is doing what it's supposed to do, so that's great. I had a little rush of emotion from the yesterday's feeling, right? That it was what happened to me yesterday. So because of the opening trade, you know, we made our, I made my goal. So we'll try to get just the regular channeling. Only 100 shares here, guys. So anybody who's done the PDT rule should have no problem with this share size. Interesting. It's going to give me another opportunity down here. There's on the 14. Kind of like to see it go a little further down. I'm going to take that. Pick me up, pick me up. So I'm at 73, $0.75, looking for a retracement up in a much better position than I was before. Looking for a short-term profit here, that's all. Just something 10, 15, 20 bucks maybe. Only 100 shares riding. Looking for it to bank back up to the even dollar. It's not. It's showing signs of dropping, which isn't good. I'm going to take that smaller if it gives me a smaller gain there. Yep. So we're at 97. I just didn't trust the price action. So we'll look for a dip again. I'm not going to go short off of this because it could just bam up here and a big boom. Yeah, so now I wish I would have held it longer, obviously. There's always a way to sneak in here and make this kind of money. There's just not always, but okay, so that was volume coming below the magnet. Remember, the VWAP's way down here. A lot of people only trade based on that. I don't know how many people, but that draws it down a bit. But everybody's trading up here with the magnet and the moving averages. Oh, excuse me. I think I'll do this another 2 minutes, and then I might go see. Tesla was how I bailed out yesterday. Go see what Tesla looks like for a few minutes. Tomorrow's our last day of the month of this trading, this strategy, this scalping type. It's more like a type than a strategy type of trading. Because it keeps hitting here, it makes me really want to go short, but, you know, I don't know. You know, I would wait till it would get up here, but I'm still questioning that, of course. Yeah, it's just above the 50 cent. I'd rather go long down here. Can we get down to 70 cents, 60 cents? Can we drop a bit further? Or is it going to stay at the 178 even? Just looking for one more, you know, $5, $10 trade to get us to our goal. Nothing big. Still only less than a half hour into the market open. It is stalling at the 170. It's given me tons of opportunity to make that money, and I'm just waiting for a better position. Well, definitely could have got it there a few times. I'm going to go ahead and go in on the even dollar. I got it. and try to get out. And there it was. So I just saw this keep repeatedly happening. So I said, you know what? I can do that. So I broke it there, and I'm going to go take a look at Tesla. I have no idea what it's doing right now. So let's just see if it's giving us some cool opportunities here. In the few minutes that I have left to trade here. So it didn't really respect the fibs. It's resting on one now. That's the 2 and 10-day Fibonacci levels. If you weren't here earlier on a suggestion of one of the subscribers that was pointing out the RV strategy has a 2-day as well, I decided to do this. But typically, I mean, this is not the RV strategy. But, you know, on these, why a 2-day would be useful is when it's trending one direction or the other and you only have a few days of historical data within the same line of where you're trading. Why not get Fibonacci levels there, you know? Look at that. I'm only going to do 50 shares here. See if we can. I am going to try to trade this because this is some serious consolidation. So we have it from this even dollar 322. It hits down to the 50 cents here, but so 322 all the way down to 321, where it just made a solid flat bottom there. See that? Boom, 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 boom. So that is an area to take a long for sure. And then on the short, I mean, we don't really have a consistent spot to go short. So start looking at the biased. So the news overall on this from the close did nothing. Wow, it's like 20 cents off the close. So that's good for the type of strategy that we're trading. But it's hard to call a biased for it right now. I mean, that looks like it's just going straight down, but that is not the case. So I'd be careful trading it short based on, see how fast. It's just like all those time frames are like across the board here. So they're not really giving you. Now the market itself is saying down, but Tesla, you know, beats to its own drummer, right? It's not moves to its own drummer. Wow. That is definitely tempting to go down, but it has been all the way up here, a whole dollar higher already. So I would go long a lot more than I go short with this stock right now as it got down, you know. Right here, I don't have a trade in my opinion. So I'm waiting. Now, if you watched me trade yesterday, I'm just going to take these swales, and that is true scalping, where you're just trying to get 5 cents, 10 cents, just one trade after another, one trade after another, one trade after, boom, boom, boom. You just ride these, you know. If it goes out of position, you add to it and then ride it and get out. You know, that's fast-acting, hotkey scalping, you know. After a while, you can get pretty good at that if you start this way, learn the limitations of the moves. I will not take it off the fib. See how the magna's pushing it up here? Although those lines went away fast, so that's not as... So it broke off the 50 cent and went back up. There's definitely some plays in here the way this is moving, so I'm probably going to start taking some trades in here. Let's see. So that's the 50 cents. Is it gonna stay at the 50 cents? I might have a move here to go long on the 50 cents, buy the bid, and ride it up. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and go in there. So I got it at 30 cents. Just take a little trade there. We just have 50 shares, so saying that's 30 cents up, 26 down. That's your risk oscillator telling you the moves you could take. We're back at the 50 cents here again, so I'm looking to maybe take advantage off that level, but it's breaking it now. Again, I'm not going to go short because I think it has some room to go up here. It created a flat bottom here. That's why I'm not as afraid of that at the bottom here. But I am afraid up here because there is no flat top. It's starting to do one here. Why do those get created? A lot of people buy and sell at that level, so you can kind of count on that stalling the movement, which is usually enough time to take advantage of a scalp. Often is usually the right word. Often's a better word. Okay, it's way up here, but the magnet says we're coming up with it. Wow, look at it go. That's why I didn't want to go short right there. So now at the 23 level, it might be worthy of a short. We'll see how it goes. But there's lots of scalps in here. You saw me yesterday. If you watch those, I was just taking these left and right, you know. And you're going to miss some. That's why my rating went down to the 70, 73 or 74%. But overall, I was just got rid of the deficit and got positive. It's a skill set you learn over time to just jump in and most always be able to make money scalping. No strategy. I would say keep, use the indicators to get the general area you're going to scalp in, but you don't need to follow like an RV strategy or an open strategy. Pivot points are good, I'm getting, I can see that. Getting to the time where I have to stop, guys. But I see most of you have stuck around. We have a core group that comes every day. I appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. I broke 200 so far, which is, double what we're going for. So this is the risk oscillator color. It's not a bright red, telling you that it's breaking its level that it would have normally gone up. So like it's surpassed it. You also just broke out of the market magnet, which is based on 50% of the overall price volume. And now it's above that. So it should be getting weaker. There's like nothing telling it to keep going. And now we're hitting the 23 even mark. Now, it could be that this news is coming in slow. It's really hard to judge how this is going to move, right? But I think that we're coming into an area where it's much safer to short here, which is counterintuitive when you see that, right? So that's why you want to take in the other, indicators that you see, or indications that you see of price movement. So see how it dropped off that. It didn't make it to the 23. A lot of people said it's going to turn around. They just took their stuff. Now, that's a reversal sign, right? That's what they call a gravestone. There's the grave, there's the stone. And that's a fairly strong, I think that's a 74% reversal. Get the candlestick pattern playbook. It has ratings that tells you how often to respect these. But it is turning it around, as was the other data that I said. So it would have been safe to go short. I didn't take it. Wasn't as confident with it. And now I can't go long for a while, right? And again, unless you just do that minor scalping. So there was a big trade there, and now it's over, right? There was a good trade there. That was a 64 down to, that was over 50, it was 40-cent trade there. $40 right there. Boom, boom, taking a short on 100 shares. Nice. I may on the, let's see if it fades off that even dollar again, I might go short right as it pops up. 83 on the ask. Just seems to be stopping, not getting up to 90 cents on the ask. What time is it? Okay. I don't see, I get waving hands, you guys. I get waving hands that it's time to go. I could kind of see them peripherally, like what's moving up there. Okay, well, I'll take at least one more trade. Let's see. They get worried because I get stuck in the trade. One more trade could mean 15 minutes. Yeah, it's not giving me clear enough data, guys, here. So, and they are right. I don't have a clear trade here, but that's kind of how I would play it. If it was me, but I'm going to bug out for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you made your goal today. I think it seemed fairly easy today to get it going, but, maybe so. Oh, boy, that's tempting, guys. Wow, it broke. Did you see how it broke it there? Wait, okay. I just got to see if it does that again. One more time up there. That was 14. I could have already done the trade. Could have already made the money. Give me a bump up here. Give me a big bump. Some people would just say go long here because it's showing you. Okay, there it goes. Did it pick me up? Didn't pick me up. Cancel. I'm out of that. Could have already made the money. Yeah, it would have been 17, 18 cents. All right. Well, no. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. And always stay inquisitive, learn new things, and go green out there. And I will see you tomorrow morning. Hopefully you guys are doing good. I'm not sure I'm going to do a recap today because I kind of called these as they happened, but I'll probably do one after yesterday's trading. All right. Good luck out there.